Advances in medicine in ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt, with its majestic pyramids, complex hieroglyphics, and enduring cultural legacy, is equally notable for its profound contributions to the field of medicine. The medical practices of ancient Egypt were both advanced and sophisticated for their time, reflecting a deep understanding of anatomy, practical treatments, and the interplay of magic and religion in health. This essay explores the comprehensive advances in medicine in ancient Egypt, covering medical practitioners, diagnostic techniques, treatments, surgery, pharmaceuticals, public health, and the influence of religion and magic on medical practices. Historical context. The development of medicine in ancient Egypt spans several millennia, beginning as early as the pre-dynastic period, before 3150 before Common Era, and continuing through the Pharaonic era, before the Common Era. During this time, the Egyptian civilization flourished along the fertile Nile River, which provided an abundance of medicinal plants and resources. The stability of Egyptian society allowed for the accumulation, preservation, and transmission of medical knowledge across generations. Medical practitioners. Medical practitioners in ancient Egypt were highly respected and played crucial roles in society. They were often priests who served in temples dedicated to healing deities like Sekhmet, the goddess of healing and war, and Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing. Known as SWNW, these practitioners were well-educated and skilled in various medical disciplines. Specialization and hierarchy. The medical profession in ancient Egypt had a clear hierarchy and specialization. Key roles included the chief of physicians, who oversaw medical practices, the palace doctor, who served the royal family, and the inspector of physicians, who ensured the quality of medical care. Specialization allowed practitioners to focus on specific areas such as dentistry, surgery, and ophthalmology. This specialization led to the development of detailed knowledge and techniques in various medical fields, ensuring that patients received expert care for specific ailments. Documentation and texts. One of the most significant contributions of ancient Egyptian medicine is the extensive documentation found in medical papyri. These texts, written in hieratic script, provide detailed records of medical knowledge and practices. Notable examples include 1. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, dating to approximately 1600 before Common Era. This text is one of the oldest known surgical treatises, focusing on trauma surgery and providing detailed observations of various injuries and their treatments. 2. The Ebers Papyrus, dating to around 1550 before Common Era. This comprehensive medical text covers a wide range of topics, including internal medicine, dermatology, and mental health, and lists hundreds of remedies made from plants, minerals, and animal products. 3. The Kahan Gynecological Papyrus. From approximately 1800 before Common Era, this document is one of the earliest known texts on women's health, detailing various gynecological conditions and treatments. 4. The Hearst Papyrus. Another significant text from ancient Egypt that includes treatments for a variety of ailments, ranging from gastrointestinal issues to skin conditions. These papyri are invaluable for understanding the scope and depth of ancient Egyptian medical knowledge. They reveal a sophisticated approach to medicine that combined empirical observation with spiritual and magical practices. Medical practices. Ancient Egyptian medicine was characterized by a combination of empirical practices and spiritual beliefs. The approach to medicine was holistic, integrating physical treatments with spiritual and magical interventions. Diagnosis and examination. Diagnosis in ancient Egypt was a meticulous process involving careful examination of the patient. Physicians used their senses to observe symptoms, including sight, smell, and touch. They checked pulse rates, examined bodily fluids, and asked detailed questions about the patient's lifestyle and symptoms. This methodical approach is reminiscent of modern diagnostic techniques. Treatments and remedies. The Egyptians employed a wide range of treatments, many of which have parallels in modern medicine. These treatments included 1. Herbal remedies. Ancient Egyptian physicians utilized a vast array of plants and herbs to treat illnesses. Some of the commonly used plants included garlic, for its antibacterial properties, aloe vera, for skin conditions, and myrrh, as an antiseptic. 2. Mineral and animal products. Substances like natron, a natural salt, and honey were used for their preservative and healing properties. Animal products such as ox liver and crocodile dung were also incorporated into remedies, though the efficacy of these treatments is less understood. 3. Physical treatments. Techniques such as massage and physical manipulation were employed to alleviate pain and treat musculoskeletal issues. This included the use of traction for fractures and splinting for broken bones. 4. Diet and nutrition. The Egyptians recognized the importance of diet in maintaining health. Specific dietary recommendations were made for various conditions, and certain foods were believed to have medicinal properties. Surgery. Surgery in ancient Egypt was relatively advanced, with evidence of procedures such as trepanation, drilling holes into the skull to treat head injuries, and the setting of fractures. The Edwin Smith Papyrus provides detailed descriptions of various surgical techniques and instruments, indicating a sophisticated understanding of anatomy and surgical intervention. Surgical tools were made from materials like bronze and included scalpels, forceps, and cauterization tools. Surgical procedures were often performed with the aid of spells and incantations to ensure their success and protect the patient from harm. The combination of practical skill and magical belief reflects the dual nature of Egyptian medical practice. Obstetrics and gynecology. Ancient Egyptian medicine also included specialized knowledge in obstetrics and gynecology. The Kahan Gynecological Papyrus provides insight into the diagnosis and treatment of women's health issues, including pregnancy, childbirth, and gynecological disorders. Midwives played an essential role in assisting with childbirth, using various techniques to ensure the safety of both mother and child. Pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical knowledge of ancient Egypt was extensive and highly developed. The Ebers Papyrus lists over 800 prescriptions and remedies, detailing the preparation and application of various treatments. These included 1. Poultices and ointments, used to treat wounds and skin conditions. These were made from ingredients such as honey, animal fat, and plant extracts. 2. Infusions and decoctions. Herbal infusions and decoctions were prepared by boiling or soaking plants in water to extract their medicinal properties. These were used to treat a variety of internal ailments. 3. Suppositories and enemas. The use of suppositories and enemas indicates a sophisticated approach to treating digestive and reproductive issues. Ingredients like honey and oils were commonly used in these preparations. 4. Inhalations and fumigations. These methods were used to treat respiratory conditions. Certain plants and resins were burned to produce smoke or vapors believed to have healing properties. The preparation of these remedies required careful attention to detail and a thorough understanding of the properties of various ingredients. This knowledge was often passed down through generations of medical practitioners and was considered a valuable part of their cultural heritage. Religion and magic. Religion and magic played a significant role in ancient Egyptian medicine. The Egyptians believed that health and illness were closely tied to the gods and supernatural forces. Healing deities such as Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess of war and healing, and Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing, were invoked in medical practices. Magical practices. Magic was integrated into medical treatments through the use of spells, amulets, and incantations. These practices were intended to protect patients from evil spirits and curses, which were believed to cause illness. For example, spells were often recited during the preparation and administration of remedies to enhance their effectiveness. Amulets and talismans were commonly used to provide protection and promote healing. These objects were often inscribed with symbols and texts believed to have magical properties. The use of magic in medicine reflects the Egyptian belief in the interconnectedness of the physical and spiritual worlds. Temple medicine. Temples dedicated to healing deities served as centers for medical practice and education. These temples housed libraries of medical texts and provided training for physicians. Patients often visited temples to receive treatments and participate in rituals intended to invoke the healing powers of the gods. The priests who served as medical practitioners in these temples were highly respected and possessed extensive knowledge of both medical and magical practices. Their dual role as healers and religious leaders highlights the integration of medicine and spirituality in ancient Egyptian culture. Anatomy and physiology. The ancient Egyptians had a surprisingly detailed understanding of human anatomy and physiology, which was largely derived from their practices of mummification and embalming. These practices provided them with opportunities to study the human body and its internal organs. Understanding of the body. The Egyptians recognized the importance of the heart, considering it the center of life and thought. They also understood the circulatory system to some extent, although their knowledge was not as advanced as that of later civilizations. The brain, however, was not given much importance, and its functions were largely misunderstood. The heart was believed to be the seat of intelligence, emotion, and memory. This belief influenced their medical practices, with many treatments focusing on maintaining the health of the heart and circulatory system. Mummification and anatomy. The process of mummification involved the removal and preservation of internal organs, which gave the Egyptians insights into the structure and function of these organs. The practice of preserving the body for the afterlife required a detailed knowledge of anatomy, which was reflected in their medical texts. During mummification, organs such as the liver, lungs, stomach, and intestines were removed and placed in canopic jars for preservation. The heart was often left in place, as it was considered essential for the deceased's journey to the afterlife. The brain was typically removed and discarded, as its importance was not recognized. Public health and hygiene. Ancient Egyptians had a sophisticated understanding of public health and hygiene, recognizing the importance of cleanliness in preventing disease. This understanding was reflected in their daily practices and public infrastructure. Sanitation and water supply. The Egyptians built extensive systems for sanitation and water supply, including wells, cisterns, and channels to provide clean water for drinking and bathing. They also developed methods for waste disposal to maintain hygiene in their cities. Public baths were common, and people were encouraged to bathe regularly. The importance of cleanliness was emphasized in both daily life and religious practices, with rituals often involving purification through washing. Personal hygiene. Personal hygiene was a significant aspect of Egyptian life. People used soaps made from animal fats and alkaline salts to cleanse their bodies. They also used cosmetics and perfumes, not only for aesthetic purposes but also for their potential medicinal properties. Dental hygiene was particularly important, with evidence of toothbrushes and toothpaste made from natural ingredients like crushed herbs and minerals. The Egyptians recognized the importance of oral health and developed various treatments for dental issues. Legacy and influence. The medical practices of ancient Egypt had a lasting impact on subsequent civilizations, particularly the Greeks and Romans. Greek physicians like Hippocrates and Galen were influenced by Egyptian medical knowledge, incorporating it into their own practices. Transmission of knowledge. The transmission of Egyptian medical knowledge was facilitated by the translation of medical texts into Greek and Latin. This allowed the wisdom of ancient Egyptian physicians to be preserved and integrated into the medical traditions of later cultures. The extensive documentation found in medical papyri provided a valuable resource for scholars and practitioners in the ancient world. These texts were studied and referenced by physicians in Greece, Rome, and beyond, ensuring the continuity of Egyptian medical knowledge. Influence on modern medicine. Many aspects of ancient Egyptian medicine have parallels in modern medical practices. The holistic approach to health, combining physical and spiritual elements, is reflected in contemporary integrative medicine. The use of herbal remedies and the emphasis on hygiene and public health are also enduring legacies of Egyptian medicine. The contributions of ancient Egyptian medicine to the fields of surgery, pharmaceuticals, and anatomy laid the foundation for many modern medical practices. The meticulous documentation and empirical approach of Egyptian physicians provided a model for scientific inquiry in medicine. Conclusion. The advances in medicine in ancient Egypt represent a remarkable achievement in the history of human civilization. The Egyptians developed sophisticated medical practices that combined empirical observation with spiritual and magical beliefs. Their knowledge of anatomy, surgery, pharmaceuticals, and public health was advanced for their time and has had a lasting impact on subsequent medical traditions. The legacy of ancient Egyptian medicine is preserved in the extensive documentation found in medical papyri, which continue to be studied and admired by scholars and practitioners today. The holistic approach to health, the emphasis on hygiene and public health, and the integration of medicine and spirituality are enduring contributions of this ancient civilization to the field of medicine.